Story time on how the guy I was dating lied about his age to get with me. Okay, y'all, so today's story is my own. Okay, so boom, this took place on my senior year of high school when I was 17. In my school, everyone had to complete 100 hours of community service to graduate. I ended up doing community service at a daycare that was literally right next to my house. I was working with a lot of kids and they literally all loved me. I got many crazy stories about the time I was working at this daycare, y'all. Sheesh. But anyways, there was this one particular kid who was real quiet but super sweet. The teacher asked me to give him some one-on-one attention because he was a little behind. Everything went great and I could see he had potential, so my teacher wanted to introduce me to his parents. He told me his mom usually picks him up, so I was like, yeah, okay, cool. Well, a guy ended up picking him up and he looked kind of young, like my age, and he was 6'2", and ooh, height, y'all, that's my weakness. And of course, very handsome. As soon as he looked at me, he gave me a, ooh, you a snack look. I was so nervous, y'all. Like for part two on how the guy I was dating lied about his age to get with me. Okay, so boom, like I said, I seen a tall, handsome guy walk up and I got a little nervous. But whatever, I started talking to him about his son and he just smiled the whole time and gave me the look. This how he was looking at me, y'all. Like, please, if you're not ready for no action, don't give me that look. So I told him, your son is amazing and he's so sweet. And do you know what this guy told me? He told me, oh, I'm not his dad, I'm big bro. And I believed him. From that day forward, he was always coming to pick up his little brother, and we would always like flirt and stuff. Well, one day I was in the playground playing with the kids, waiting for all the parents to come pick up their children. I was sitting on a swing just like reading a book, and he came and sat next to me. This was the first time we were both kind of alone, like literally no teachers around because I was the only one watching the kids play. And this is the moment he asked me for my number. Y'all, we started talking and texting every night. This is when things got spicy, like for part three. Part 3 on how the guy I was dating lied about his age to get with me. Okay, so boom, like I said, this was the first time we were finally alone, and this is when he asked me for my number. He knew what he was doing. He was playing his cards right, y'all, when I think about it. But anyways, from then on, we started texting and talking every night. This went on for like a good 2 weeks, y'all. I'm talking about I was sleeping on the phone with this man, still thinking that that was his little brother. He asked me how old I was, and I told him that I was 17, and then I asked him how old he was. This man told me he was 20. And then he told me that he already knew I was 17 because he asked one of the teachers already, but he wanted to make sure. So y'all, he literally knew the whole time that I was 17. Anyways, the truth was about to set his ass free. He asked me out on a date and I was like, hell yeah. So we planned a date for next Saturday. Well, Wednesday, a couple days before our date, I literally found out everything. Like for part 4. Part 4 on how the guy I was dating lied about his age to get with me. And this story is my own. Okay, so boom, like I said, we had a date planned for Saturday, but Wednesday, the truth was revealed. The teacher was like, damn, Leo's mom hasn't been here in a while. She used to always pick him up, but now I'm always seeing the dad pick him up. I wonder what's going on. And I was like, huh, dad, what, huh? I said, that's not Leo's dad, that's his brother. And then she looked at me confused and was like, no, that's his father. And I just stared at her like, what? And I said, how old is he? She was like 32. Y'all, my jaws dropped. He was actually single though. They were co-parenting, but he started picking up his son more literally because of me. I had the audacity to call him his little brother. From that day, I blocked him on everything and started hiding from him every time he came. So he thought I didn't work there anymore. He even asked about me. All the teachers had my back. Then eventually he stopped coming and the mom started picking up Leo. Thank God I didn't do nothing with him. These guys are weird. Part 2 on how my dad cheated on my mom with my boyfriend and she was the one to walk in on them. Okay, so boom, like I said, my dad and my boyfriend's relationship was always weird. My boyfriend would come over my house like every day and spend time with me and my dad. Not so much my mom because my mom worked the night shift. He would usually get to know my mom on her off days, which was Saturday and Sundays. So over the year that my boyfriend's been coming over, my boyfriend would always end up in my dad's room. My boyfriend would tell me that he's gonna go over to my dad's room and play Xbox with him. I tried going in the room sometimes just to watch them play, but they both convinced me that it was a guy's thing and that it was a bonding moment, like a father and son type of thing. So I would always just do my own thing in my room and wait for my boyfriend to come back. Well, one Monday night when my mom is supposed to be working, she actually wasn't feeling good, so she came back home. I myself didn't even know my mom came back. So I know for a fact that my dad and my brother didn't hear either. All of a sudden, I heard my mom open their room door and scream, "Oh my God!" And I immediately ran out my room like for part 3. Part 3 on how my dad cheated on my mom with my boyfriend. And she was the one who walked in on them. Okay, so boom, like I said, my mom opened the door and screamed, "Oh my God!" I immediately ran out my room and went to my mom and stood right next to her. Me and and my mom stood there in shock while we looked at my dad's hot dog and my boyfriend's peach. All four of us was literally frozen in place. My mom's reaction is actually something you wouldn't expect. She didn't fight or anything. She just closed the door, told me to go to my room, called the cops on my dad because obviously my boyfriend is a minor. Police came, took my dad, brought him to jail, and my mom divorced him. No kicking, no fighting, no none of that. Not even any screaming. I'm not gonna lie, I told everyone in my school. It got so bad for my boyfriend, he had to actually change schools. And his parents are currently taking my dad to court. Now, me and my mom literally both don't speak to my dad. And yeah, me and my mom bonded because we were both literally cheated on with each other's significant others. So if your boyfriend says he's gonna play games with your dad, ask him what type of games. Part 2 on how my brother got me pregnant. Okay, so boom, like I said, my mom realized I was having pregnancy symptoms and said, "Oh, you're not gay." I was so confused, but when I took the pregnancy test, I tested positive and realized that I was pregnant. I immediately knew the father was my brother because I lost my V card to my brother, and he's literally the only person I've ever done the nasty with. And when I told my brother, he was happy. Like, happy as fuck. Apparently, my brother always liked me, so getting me pregnant was great news for him. Even though I'm his little sister. Yuck. I ended up cussing my brother out. We fought, and I literally violated him, y'all. I said some not so kind words to that man. Obviously, once my parents found out, it was over for me. I ran away and left and became a stripper. Then I eventually found an amazing man who I married, and now I'm 29 with 2 beautiful, kind daughters. Bye. All right, everyone, this is Ask Val. One of my followers need advice, and I need everyone to sound off in the comment section. Okay, y'all, so boom. I have a boyfriend that I've been with for a very long time, but out of nowhere, he kind of just stopped talking to me. It started off with just one day of him not talking to me, but then one day it's turned into 2, and then it turned into 3. And now we're about a week in with literally no talking. I text him and I call him, but he's not responding. But he's literally watching all of my stories. I don't know if he's going through a mental thing or if he's just being weird. I don't know. What should I do? See ya in the comment section. Story time on how my brother got me pregnant. We jumping right into it. Okay, so boom. I came out to my parents and told them I was gay. My parents were not having it and they were pissed. My parents were actually so mad they kicked me out. After my parents kicked me out, my brother told me he would let me back in the house if I did the nasty with him. I know, sounds crazy. Why would I do that? But I was young at the time and I was dumb. I was young and dumb. So I agreed and I did the nasty with my brother. So I was living in my parents' house in secret and hiding every time they would be around. It worked at first, but I was always nauseous and throwing up, so they eventually found out that I was still in the house. My mom realized I was having pregnancy symptoms and said to me, "Oh, you're not gay." Imagine your parents being so happy that you're pregnant instead of gay. But wait till they find out who the father is. For part 2. Story time on how I had to beat my best friend and my boyfriend's ass. Okay, so boom. Me and my best friend have been friends for 8 years. Years later, when I met my boyfriend and we started dating, my best friend was always weirdly jealous. I didn't think much of it because I thought we were best friends and she would never do something like that to me, you know? Or so I thought. Well, one day me and my best friend were shopping and she got a text. She then tells me she has to go and just leaves. I didn't even have a chance to tell her bye. So I call my boyfriend and I say, "Hey, where are you?" Then I hear the door close and a girl's voice in the background. I asked him, "What was that? Who is that?" And he had the audacity to say that was his mom. So I got to his house and talked to his mom and she said he wasn't there. Then his mom tells me he went to a hotel room. She told me the info and I went there. And guess what I found out? Part 2 on how I had to beat my best friend and my boyfriend's ass. Okay, so boom, like I said, his mom tells me he's in a hotel room and gives me the info. So I go over there. I needed to investigate. So I got there and when I approached the room, I heard moaning. My heart dropped and I immediately started knocking on the door. But I didn't say it was me. I start to get so nervous thinking about what's going on in there. Then my boyfriend answers the door with his robe on and I immediately pushed him to the side to find my best friend naked on the bed. That's when I ended up beating their asses. I was actually beating them up so bad that a random girl in the hallway had to come in and stop the fight. Y'all know how the typical boy begging to come back and the best friend hating thing. Yeah, I was good off of that. Good riddance. I'm glad I taught them a lesson. Story time on how my cousin tried to sexually assault me. Okay, y'all, so boom. I went to Mexico for the summer because my parents wanted me to meet my grandparents. I went there with my brother so I wasn't alone. And throughout our time there, me and my brother met my grandparents and other people in our family. A month into my visit, I met my cousin Josh. That's not his real name, but we'll just call him Josh. When I first met him, Josh was super nice to both me and my brother. Everything was fine, and he even stayed with us a couple weeks until something happened. One day when I was in my room that I was staying at, I was just minding my business playing Minecraft. Now, my room had no doors because they were working on getting new doors. And let me tell you guys that I was 8 years old and he was a teenager. He came in my room and I didn't think anything of it. He was just basically watching me play Minecraft. But then he came up to me and sat on my bed and then got on top of me. Like for part 2. Part 2 on how my cousin tried to sexually assault me. Okay, so boom, like I said, he came into my room and started watching me play Minecraft. But then he came to my bed and got on top of me. I was laying down on my stomach, so to give y'all a visual, he was basically on my back, like my butt. Then he tried to pull my shorts down and told me, I'll let you keep playing Minecraft if you let me touch your ass. Let me remind you guys that I'm 8 years old and this guy's a teenager. I didn't really understand what was going on, but I just pushed him off and said I don't really want to play anymore. Then I threw the phone and I left. I felt weird after, but I didn't know why. Him going and laying on me and touching on me like that, I was just uncomfortable. And I know things could have gotten bad and even worse if there were doors. I kept this in for 2 years, so I think it's time to tell everyone now. Remember, it's never okay for anybody to take advantage or inappropriately touch you. Stay Story time on how me and my mom walked in on my sister sleeping with my stepdad. Okay, so boom. This was back in 2017, so I was 17 and my sister was 20. And my stepdad was 32. So when I was 16, my sister and I were introduced by my mom to my stepdad. And right off the bat, my sister was very flirty with him. I would always catch them doing things like my sister rubbing my stepdad's muscles and him just standing there loving it. I would try to tell my mom, but she would always tell me that they're just getting along and that they're basically father and daughter. Anyways, this day it was my birthday and me and my mom were gonna have a girls' day. So that meant that my sister and my stepdad were going to be all alone. My mom and I told them that we would be back around 10. So we go to a store to shop, but long story short, I fell and hurt my foot, so we had to go back early. As soon as we get into the house, we hear moaning. I immediately looked at my mom and told her, I told you so. As soon as I said that, my mom ran upstairs like the NBA, like for part 2 on how me and my mom walked in on my sister sleeping with my stepdad. Okay, so boom, like I said, we came home early and immediately heard moaning. I looked at my mom and said, I told you so. As soon as I said that, my mom ran upstairs like she was a track star. She's a runner, she's a track star. Anyways, I ran after my mom and we opened the door together and we see my sister naked with my stepdad. My sister immediately started crying and my mom was literally beating